Hi, I'm Coach Marco Saulan, and I'm here with my brother, Coach David. Okay, and we're here to show 5 ways to choke a man unconscious. Okay, now having fun with the name. I know it's very direct and it's very bam, you know. But in all seriousness, though, the stuff we are teaching can be potentially dangerous. So you need to practice these techniques responsibly and with the supervision of a professional martial arts instructor. Okay. Always respect the technique. Okay, if you do this safely and you practice it carefully, you can enjoy it very safely. But if you get reckless with it and you don't respect it and you slap these things on, you can cause permanent damage or even death to somebody. So that being said, okay, we're going to go ahead and go into our first choke. Now this next technique I'm going to show you is a personal favorite of mine, and I know me and Coach Dave, we both hit this technique in our MMA fights. And it's a rear naked choke. Okay, a lot of people always ask why it's called rear naked choke. Okay, and the reason why it's got its name is because this technique was used a lot in the Roman times, in the gladiator times, you know, in the wrestling and stuff. And back then, as many people know, the Olympics were all done naked. So rear naked choke. No, I'm just kidding. All right, all right, has nothing to do with that. Okay, the reason why it's called rear naked choke is a good question. People wonder why it's called that. Because a lot of these moves are derived from judo, okay? And in judo and Brazilian jiu-jitsu, they have the kimono, the uniform they wear, okay? And a lot of chokes they do utilize the uniform. But this technique requires no uniform. It is a naked choke, okay? So that's where the name comes from, all right? So if anyone ever asks you why it's called rear naked choke, you'll know why. So before I show the position, I'm just going to go right into the actual choke itself, okay? Now the first thing you do, you get behind your opponent. You're going to come around all the way in with your arm. You want to get the pit of your elbow as deep as you can across the neck. So you come all the way in this way. Then this hand here is going to make a hook like that and hook as deep as you can around your tricep. And on this hand here, I'm going to read my future. I'm going to read my palm. And as I read my palm, I see my future. I'm about to choke David. Alright? So I come this way, read my future, and then I run my fingers through my hair, and I get behind this way. Okay? What's going to happen once I get behind is I'm going to make a fist here. And you see that pocket of space? This is where, you know, Dave's neck is. I'm going to come down like that, like a cheese grater. Okay? Not cheese grater, like a meat slicer, like in a deli. Okay? Bing, bing, like that. Okay? Just cutting his neck off. Okay? Now, I come here, I grab here, I read my palm, I come back, and I get behind his neck. Don't grab up here. A lot of people teach the choke from up here, and you'll even see in the UFC some guys grab up here. It's not technically sound because what he's going to do is reach up, grab the hand, yank it down, and that's going to be hard to choke him with one arm. Okay? You want to come all the way behind the neck. So now if he reaches up, there's nothing to grab. Okay? Now, if I was to just lift my forearm, I would get a choking effect on David. If I was to push just his head down and no choke here, I would get another choking effect. So it makes sense that we want to do both. So when I come here and I get behind here, as I push out here, I squeeze. Boom, I get my choke. Now it only makes sense that the harder I push his head, the more the choke's going to affect him. So as I push his head, I'm going to use my head. When I get my head here, I'm going to push my head and make the choke even tighter. Okay? So one more time. I come across, get my elbow as deep as I can, grab my tricep, read my palm, run my fingers through my hair, and get behind there. I make a fist, and I drive the fist out as I squeeze and push my head. Okay? And right there you have your rear naked choke. You can hit it anytime you're behind somebody. However, the best way to make sure that you lock it is what they call putting the hooks in. It's when I have my legs hooked in this way around David's legs here in the inside. Okay? What makes this so effective is that now wherever David rolls, if he rolls to his left, okay, I'm going to stick right behind him like a little monkey. Okay? So he can't go anywhere. And then from here, I can slap the choke on. Okay? Even if he stands, I can slap the choke on here and finish him. Okay? And I'm right behind him, stuck onto him. Okay? So this position, you can get into it if he's on his knees. Hands and knees. A lot of times, the guy will be there, maybe we're fighting or whatever. I snap it, I spin around, I'm behind him here. You'll see this also a lot in MMA fights. Okay? Now from here, I could choose to hit him, but he may stand up and explode out at any given moment. So if you want to keep that control, all you gotta do is you get one leg, like you're riding a horse, you get one leg and hook inside, hook the other one inside, and stay underneath his armpits like this. Okay? Once you have him here, if he starts rolling around, you'll be behind him. But if you want to finish the fight right from right here, what you're gonna do is you're gonna kick both your legs back, like all the way out, and punch your underhooks up. And this is gonna flatten them out. So right here, boom, and it's gonna flatten them out. Once I flatten them out, I can strike or I can slide in the rear naked choke. Okay? That actual sequence was executed by me and David in our MMA fights. So it's very effective, very solid technique. And when you're practicing with each other, the second you feel any kind of pressure or discomfort, you just tap out like you've seen Coach David doing, okay? And you let go immediately, all right? Also, I prefer not just only tapping, but saying it out loud. Tap! This way, if there's music in the room, or if the guy's tapping the mat and you don't hear it, okay, you can't mistake it. When you hear tap, and you tap out loud. Try not to tap the mat, better to tap the person, okay? And right now, we're going to our second move, which is the guillotine choke, which Coach David will take over with.
The next choke we're going to go over is the guillotine choke. And it's one of the more common techniques you'll see in grappling and in MMA. If you watch the UFC a lot, you'll see lots of guillotine chokes going on. It's a very easy move to get into and a very effective one. A lot of times it's done from standing. Right now we're going to demonstrate it first on the ground. So we're going to start in a position called the guard, which is one of the most defensive positions you can use off your back. So what's going to happen, I get taken down or I get knocked down by Coach Marcos and I end up here. Okay, what I'm going to do, my legs, I'm going to wrap around his back and I'm going to cross right at my ankles. Okay, so this might look a little funny at first, but the goal of this is to keep control of his body. Right now, he's up high, he has a lot of leverage to punch, and he can strike here, and I can't even touch him here. Okay, this is far range for me. So I want to use my legs to control and pull him in. Here, boom. And now I can clinch up and stay close with him, and I can even strike from here. Okay, so that's the purpose of the guard. Without my legs here, I wouldn't have that type of control. So once I do have him in my guard, okay, the guillotine choke is going to start right here when he has both his hands on the mat. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to put one elbow on the ground, just like this, okay? This arm right here is going to shoot over his shoulder, and I'm going to sit up. Right here. Now I can pull my butt back just a little bit to help give me some balance. So now I can sit on my own will, I'm not falling down, okay? And I'm just sitting up now. From here, my left arm is going to wrap, boom, right around his neck, okay? And I want my thumb to point up to the ceiling, okay? And that means my forearm here is going to be sticking into his neck, which will make it very uncomfortable. Boom. My other hand now is going to meet up, just like a ball and socket, and I'm, boom, on a cup right underneath the wrist, right here, to secure my hold. 1, 2, boom. Once I have this in place, okay, the guillotine choke is ready to go. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to fall back into my guard. So I'm going to fall back, and I'm going to cross my legs again. Boom. Right here. Now, one key point is that I don't want my shoulder here, where his head's under, to be very high like this. Okay, a lot of people miss out on this when they're doing the guillotines. Because what happens is, if my shoulder's very high here, this is how I'm going to be choking them. This is a very weak position for my arm. I want my shoulder to be very low here. So now, here, I have much more strength in choking. So when I come up here, I want to even start this as I'm falling back into my guard. I want my shoulder to collapse. You can already see there, Coach Marcos is coughing, and I haven't even applied the choke yet, because you get a lot more leverage in your choke. But once I'm here, to crank, simply I have to pull up on my arm and squeeze, okay? So this is coming up right here, going into his neck. my shoulder here is dropping down, which is also pushing his head down. Again, we discussed this with the rear naked. It's like a counter force, going down, going up. And finally, my legs will extend, okay, to also help that rip and pull motion. So when it's all locked up together, oh, right there you have a very solid guillotine choke. Okay, so one more time from the top here. He has his hands down. I'm going to plant my elbow on the ground. I'm going to sit up. Right here, this hand comes, wraps around the neck. Lock my grip. Fall back. And now squeeze. So, that is our guillotine choke from the guard. Okay, a very excellent tool to have. Someone with a good guillotine is very difficult to deal with, especially when you're trying to bring them to the ground, because it's always there. It's a very common threat. Now we're going to do the same choke, the guillotine choke, but from a standing position. Okay, so we get up on our feet here. Now, what often happens, okay, especially in an MMA fight, so both of us are striking, and usually one person's a better striker than the other. And the person who's worse off is going to try to bring me down, okay, to try to neutralize my advantage. So once he starts trying to tackle me, boom, okay, generally the head comes down low, and this is where our guillotine comes into effect. Just like before, I'm going to have my hand wrap around his neck, boom, coming underneath the chin. My other hand, just like before, same grip, everything's the same from here. Boom, boom, okay. And now, okay, I can finish this in one of two ways. One is just from my feet. I'm going to drive my hips forward as I crank on my arms. Boom. Okay? So this is one way where you can crank it very quickly. We're standing up here. He shoots in. Boom. You crank your guillotine choke right there. Very simple. The second, okay, and probably what you'll see more commonly is that as he's taking me down, I'm going to fall into my guard and secure my guillotine. He comes in, I'm grabbing my guillotine, and he keeps driving, and he puts me down. And boom, I fall into my guard. So I don't resist it too much, because I know he's going to be falling into the guillotine choke. And boom. So when you're doing the guillotine choke from standing, all you're really looking for is that head to come down. Once his head lowers and he starts looking into the ground, that's your opportunity to wrap your arm around and secure your guillotine choke.
This next submission we're going to do is off of our backs, and it's the triangle choke. This is a very famous choke, and you see it a lot in mixed martial arts fighting. Okay? Now, the way it's going to work out is I'm on my guard here. Okay? Now, there's two ways to set this up that are very popular. The first way is with wrist control. I get control of both his wrists, okay, and I'm going to do a push and pull. I'm going to push one side in, and I'm going to pull on the other. Now, whichever side I'm pushing, my leg is going to jump over that side. Boom, boom, right here. I want my leg, I want the pit of my knee to hit his neck, okay? If you're not that flexible with the legs, it's going to help you a lot, especially to put a foot in the hip, okay? So I come here, boom, okay? Boom, right across the neck. Now from here, I'm going to finish this choke by jumping this leg over my ankle and locking it this way. Now the reason why I get this name triangle choke is because I have a triangle made with my legs. It's very important that you don't cross your legs like this, like a guard, because there's going to be no choke going on here. You should be able to explode out of it. Okay? So when I do this, 1, 2, okay? Now my leg is choking his left side of his neck. To choke the other side of the neck, I'm going to make sure that his arm comes all the way across. So now I'm going to pull the head down, squeeze my legs, and drive my hips up. And I get my choke. Another angle. So I push and pull, boom, I got the foot in the hip if I need it. If you're flexible and you don't need it, you can just jump straight into your triangle. Okay? Remember, don't cross like this, but triangle. If your hip's not allowing in the beginning, don't feel bad. It takes a while getting used to it to make the triangles happen. When I first started, I couldn't lock them that easy. So, but if you're getting close, like if your leg's locking like at the calf, it's perfectly fine to use your hand and grab your own shin, okay, and pull it in to lock your triangle. Now once you have it locked, make sure you drive the arm all the way across, pull down the head with both hands, and as you pull the head down, squeeze your legs and drive your hips up. I told you to show you two setups, so that's one. The second setup, again, I'm here, he goes to punch me, I put a foot at the bicep, so he tries to come down, bang, this is to protect myself. But by protecting myself, I also open up a setup. Now I'm going to shoot my leg over, bang, right there, see? And then lock. And once I've locked, push the arm across, squeeze. Okay? I just did the opposite side to make it simpler. We'll go in this one here. So he goes to punch me, bang, I block right there. Okay? Notice I'm already using wrist control on this side. So now this leg here is going to shoot right across the neck. Boom. And I lock it up. And once it's all locked in a triangle, pull the head down, make sure the arms are crossed, and squeeze with your hips up. Okay? And right there, it's the infamous triangle choke.
Our next choke is the arm triangle choke, which sounds very similar to the triangle, and it is, but it's a little bit different. And we're going to be using our arms mostly in this choke, and it's also from our guard. So what's going to happen, I'll be on my back, okay, right here, okay, and oftentimes when I'm using my guard, I'm pulling him in, he'll start to push to try to create distance because he wants to get a lot of space up here and I'm pulling him in. So a lot of times they'll do this. Your opponent will put his arm right across your neck or your chest. Anything's fine. This is a mistake on his part. And I'm going to make him pay for it simply by pushing right behind his elbow, right here. I'm going to push his arm across my body. And as I do that, I'm going to pull in with my other arm. Right here. Okay, so again, he's here, I'm pulling him in, he's trying to push away. I'm going to push right behind, boom, and pull him in with my other arm. Now I have his arm crossed around his neck. This hand is all the way around, okay, and now I'm going to wrap my arms, just like before. This hand is going to hook right around my bicep and my tricep. This hand here will come in front, like grabbing his forehead here. Now I'm going to turn to look into him as I squeeze my arms. Boom. Right here. Okay, so again, I'm pulling him in. He's starting to push away against my neck. I'm going to push right behind his elbow and pull in with my other arm. Okay, my legs are also pulling at the same time to really suck him in tight here. Now I'll make my grip. I'm going to hook around the bicep, grab the front of his forehead. I'm going to turn into him a little bit and then squeeze my arms. Okay, so this is the arm triangle from the guard. Now another way of doing this, okay, is from a strike. He goes to throw a punch, okay, either side right there, and boom. I slip the punch just by moving off to the side here, and I'll use my legs to pull him in. Okay, when he throws that punch, boom, he's crossing his own arm. So he falls right into this here. Boom. If you watch the UFC's, Chuck Liddell was actually submitted with this against Jeremy Horn. So it's a very effective choke. And again, this is called the arm triangle.
Now we're going to follow up that arm triangle and show another position you can hit it from, which is from the mount position, which I've actually done a lot of times in competition. So all this time so far on the ground, we've been talking about the guard. Now we're going to be in what we call the mount. Now this is my position. This is where he doesn't want to be in, because now he'll have his legs in the equation, and I can rain down blows all day. Okay? Sometimes though, maybe you're tired, or maybe you don't have confidence you can finish him on the ground right now with strikes. Maybe you think he's going to buck you off. You know, some guys are huge and they start bucking around everywhere, and you think you're not able to keep your balance. Or, like I said, you're fatigued and you just want to finish this fight already. A nice way of doing this with a choke. Okay? So what's going to happen is, I'm here, and again, he tries to push here, or maybe he's trying to choke me. Okay? Now, as he's trying to choke me here, I'm going to get my hand, I'm going to push at the elbow just like before. As I push at the elbow, I'm going to drop my head all the way down. As I drop my head down, my other arm comes underneath the head this way. See? So now we're in the same position. I'm putting my chin there, okay? I'm grabbing my tricep. I can come to the front of his head like that, or to the back of my own head. And then from here, to make it worse, to put more weight, I'm going to get off the mount and come off to the side here. And right here, I'm going to squeeze in and finish. Okay? So one more time, another angle. Actually, let's go sideways this way. Okay? He tries to choke me. Okay? I push the arm in, collapse, come across. Okay? Grab, you can go here, whichever you feel more comfortable with. Okay? And then you're going to come off from the mount and get to the side here. And now just squeeze and finish. And right there, you have your arm triangle.
Our last choke that we're going to go over in this DVD is the Anaconda choke. And it's an unforgettable move, and that's why it has an unforgettable name. And it's also been displayed in various shows, just like in the UFC and Pride. And it looks a little fancy, but it's very practical, and it's very easy to apply in real situations. So what's going to happen, we're going to start off where he's going to be on his knees, and I'm going to be on top of him here. This position occurs a lot when someone's trying to take me down. If we were on our feet, he was trying to tackle me here, and I did what's called a sprawl, which is pretty much I kick my legs back and I flatten him out against the ground. So I stopped his takedown attempt, and we end up here. Now, what I'm going to do, my left arm here is going to sink all the way in, okay? Both my hands were over. I'm going to bring this left arm right here. Boom. Okay. My other hand is going to come up and it's going to reach towards his back. And I'm going to look to grab my bicep. And you've seen this grip quite a few times now, okay? We're locking on the bicep, reaching behind. Here. Boom. Okay? Now, that is the grip for the choke. How we're going to finish this, okay? So I'm going to dive my head into the side where I'm locking up my arms. And I'm going to roll. Here, here, put my head off to the side. Ideally, I want my head to be resting right on his bicep, tricep area. Right here. And now I'm going to roll. I'm going to do a full roll. Boom. Right here. Okay, so now I'm on my back. Okay? I still have the choke applied. And my arms are locked right here. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to start walking this way. Okay? And I'm going to squeeze my arms together really hard. Up here. Oh. Okay? So what's happening here, you have his arm across the neck, as you've seen, it's a very common theme in lots of chokes. Okay? So as I walk around, I'm pushing his arm further. As my body comes here, it's pushing his head into the choke. So here, walk, boom. So let's start this again from the beginning. So he was trying to take me down. I stopped him. Okay? My left arm here is going to come around the head, under the armpit, right there. My other hand, he's going to come and meet with this hand. And I'm going to reach and try to grab his back. My head dive in, right towards this tricep, and now I roll from here. I'm gonna roll until I hit my back. Oh. Once I'm here, I'm gonna walk into him and squeeze with my arm. Here. Okay. And that completes our anaconda choke. Again, it's a very deceptive move. A lot of people will be caught off guard with it, and it puts them in a very helpless position. It's a very awkward position to try to defend or to escape. So it's very effective. And that's our anaconda choke.
All right, everybody. I hope you loved the 5 moves we went over. Like I said earlier, practice them safely. These are beautiful moves. If you master these moves, not only will you be able to defend yourself effectively with these techniques, I mean, these can save your life. You know, it doesn't matter how much someone can bench press. It could be 300 pounds pure muscle. If you're 100 pounds and you lock a choke on someone, if they can't breathe, they're going to go unconscious. Okay? And for self-defense, these are valuable to learn. You know, man, woman, children, doesn't matter. Anyone can apply these techniques. As you saw, they're very easy to do. And if you're into competition, these are priceless. Like I said, if you don't know these techniques, you don't know how to fight. So don't ever think about doing an MMA fight if you don't know these 5 basic chokes. Okay? And I'd like to thank our sponsors. Thank Brawl and Mall. And check them out, guys. BrawlandMall.tv. They got a lot of great stuff. And also, definitely like to give a shout out to our website. If you guys ever in the South Florida area want to check us out, we have a 30-day free trial. Our website's www.bestfreetrial.com. We have locations in Miami and in Broward, Davie. Okay, so check us out. We're open 24 hours a day. We have beginners-only classes, and our schedule goes from 6 in the morning all the way to 1:45 in the morning. So we have classes going on all day long. So there's no reason not to check us out. Okay, and with 30 days free, and now we're offering a 60-day money-back guarantee on top of that. You get a free uniform, and you get a free private lesson on top of all those benefits. Okay, as you can see, our facilities, they're all equipped with full-size cage, heavy bags. You know, we got boxing rings, weights, we got all kinds of stuff. So give us a call, man. You can call us up at 1-888-FFA-GYMS. That's 1-888-332-4967. And again, our website's www.bestfreetrial.com. We have programs for men, women, and children. Give us a call right now. Don't wait. Let's do this. All right? Thank you very much. I know Coach Dave had a good time. Right,
Yes,
sir?
absolutely.
All right?
I hope you guys enjoy the techniques here.
And I'm looking forward to meeting you at FFA. Thank you very much.
It was